you never know, who gonna be next champion or like who gonna be next superstar until you try.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ashley Kane.
And I'm Danny Arovich.
Together, we're your hosts for Making It to Milan.
Let's jump in.
Today, I'm so excited to be joined by Jaiyu. Liu is a world champion snowboarder, 11-time World Cup winner, Olympic silver medalist, a soon-to-be 5-time Olympian representing China, and one of the most respected halfpipe riders in the world. She's pushed the progression of women's snowboarding and continues to redefine what longevity and excellence looks like in this sport, while also actively opening up about how snowboarding is meant to be fun. Liu, welcome to the show.
Hello, so good to see you.
It's good to see you as well. So what comes to mind when I say Milan?
This journey gonna be quite special for me because before 2022 or 24, I didn't even think about to come to do this one because I was retired. I would actually do work on my PhD and then do my schoolwork, and I was like, it's a time to experience different life. But funny, now I'm here. You never know what's gonna happen in your life. Just enjoy the moment, and that's all I can do. But yes, exciting for my fifths.
Yes, I'm sure. I'm a figure skater, and you don't see many figure skaters making 5 Olympics. So it's really inspiring to see other athletes make that many Olympic games and be able to compete that many times. It makes you feel as an athlete that your career can be so much longer.
Yeah, I think it's lucky I'm a snowboarder. Such a respect to the figure skater because you guys train, I don't know, crazy, at the training time, how much time you put in there, and then how you kind of manage yourself. And then that was insane. I was watching a couple of my friends doing that. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Most important is what you want to do, right? We make the decision in the end.
And as long as your body can do it and you're still enjoying it, I think it's worth it to see how far that can go. What is one word to describe your training right now?
So far, just enjoy it, just be happy. Snowboard again.
Pump up song or artist before dropping into the pipe.
Have the whole 200 song list. When the times come and see which one is pop up. That's why you see a lot snowboarder before they dropping, they'll be play their phone or keeping touch with their helmets or something because that's how they choose what song they're gonna listen.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. I always found that listening to music helps me get into a rhythm, especially out on the ice. It could be very quiet, or those moments before competing can be very quiet. And I just found that it helps calm me and find a rhythm within my own skating. So maybe that translates as well over to snowboarding too.
Same.
What is your favorite way to completely turn your brain off when you're training?
I have my schedule, focus now what I'm going to do, and then that's it. Listen music, everything else just not matter.
Yeah, being able to switch it on and switch it off so you almost don't burn up too much energy throughout the whole process is what I found was key, because if you're constantly thinking about it all the time, you're going to burn yourself out. And the ability to almost turn your brain on and off like a light switch is really key. Hardest part about being a professional snowboarder that maybe people don't see?
Number one is the injury, and then the rehab, and then the time, if you cannot achieve what you want, the tricks you cannot do, and then you'll be suffering. That's kind of a torture sometimes, but also I think most of people enjoy that too. The process is kind of half. But I think those two are quite only you can feel that.
If everything goes right in Milan, what do you want your headline to say?
Enjoy the journey, just no regrets, and then do the best I can.
With this being your 5th Olympics, is there something that feels similar to that first one when you qualified, or does it feel completely different?
Feels like every Olympics are different. And then this one definitely is quite challenging for me as well, because 2 years ago, I was injured in my back. And then that caused me retire earlier because it was my L5, I got fracture on my L5 and partial tear, piece of my bone was out. And then I've been suffering in the pain for a long time. Pretty much just didn't enjoy my life. I was suffering pain, and then I was in the school and I cannot travel because I have the pain in my back. I cannot sit for too long. Okay, I said this is the time then I should be done. And then last summer, somehow I started coming back, and then I started my training on July, and then now here I am. to make to the team and go to my fifth.
That's incredible, though. I mean, the
I
fact
know,
that
it's crazy.
yeah, I'm sure you probably amaze yourself in it too. I mean, you've already accomplished so much, but just being able to come back from all of that too just shows how strong the body is and shows how strong you are as an athlete too.
Sometimes I ask myself why I'm doing this, you know. I do love the sports, but I think I want to challenge myself as well, you know, and to get healthier again. Last summer was the hardest workout I ever done in gym, or the time I spent in the gym for my whole career. I was like, this is crazy hard.
Was there a moment for you where you realized you wanted to push for your fifth Olympics? Because you said you were retired, but was there something that you watched or somebody that came into your life that said something or something internal that sparked in you that wanted you to push to go again?
Definitely two moments. Like one is my sponsor, of course. Like after I retired, I was very honest. I literally told them that I'm not like the age I can reach the gold medal or anything. I'm just not at the peak anymore. And then they said, yeah, they kind of know that. And then they were like, we respect you, like do what you feels like. And then another reason is I was in Paris. I spoke to my godmother. She said, why not? It's nothing lose. Why not do another one? I said, like, just do it. You're healthy, and then you're like, you still love what you're doing. You still love the sports. I was like, yeah, that's true. It's nothing to lose. That's for sure. And then I said, okay, I guess here I am.
We want to talk more about your journey. You started snowboarding at a very young age and you've been competing at the highest level for a very long time. Did you have any early role models in this sport or beyond that? And how did they shape the athlete that you've become?
It was 2003, and that was actually the first group of athletes start doing snowboard halfpipe. To grow up with the sports until now, I saw the progression. I saw the change in China, also like in international as well, you know. That's such an honor to grow up with the sports, to see everything.
It almost seems like you're that early role model for so many athletes that are coming up in the sport because you were there from the beginning, which is so incredible. Are you a part of any programs or do you teach at all to help spread the sport within your country?
I was like just being professional snowboarder in China for a long, long, long time. Now I'm like studying in the university as well. After I graduate, I want to be a professor, as I want to share like my sports to all different like university or school or kids, and then let them to enjoy the fun of the sports. When you're an athlete, right, you have the sponsor, you've been taking care by them, and then I said now is the time for me to giving back.
Now, snowboarding is a sport that is built on creativity but also risk. Was there something that first drew you to the half pipe?
Every sports have risk, right? Sometimes you feel just walking you hurt. Like just cross the street, you might get hurt too.
I agree. I was in the pair skating discipline, so I was being lifted and thrown, and people always look at the pair skaters and they're like, that seems crazy. There's such a high risk to it, or you could get hurt. Aren't you afraid of that? When you trust the person that you're skating with, which you build that first and you build that foundation, you don't really think about the risk factor. And if you get a little bit too caught up in that, then you'll hold yourself back too. With that high adrenaline sport that we both do, there is that risk factor, but you try not to let it overshadow all the other amazing parts of the sport. And maybe pushing those boundaries too within yourself. You might just keep yourself where you are, and pushing those boundaries is what keeps that creativity alive.
I totally agree.
How has your relationship with snowboarding changed as you've grown physically, mentally, and emotionally?
I think I'm growing up with the sports, and then also every year is a different year, and then every time I come back on the snowboarding, kind of feels like I'm new too. And then now, like if I look at the young generation, they are so good.
Now, you've carried the weight of expectations from yourself, from your country and from the sport. But what has snowboarding taught you about who you are beyond medals and results?
I felt like most of my accomplishment is come from snowboard, and then my confidence, the joy. I remember I talked to my dad. I said, like, I'm really thankful, you actually helped me to choose the snowboarding. I felt like it's the most fun sports. You can just, you're not just, half pipe, you're not just competing, you have the whole mountain. And I like to ride in backcountry, like mountains, everything. Just want to feel like the freedom and to find truly who you are, what you like, what you're looking for. And then sometimes we got lost after your success of what we're doing, but I learned from that, and then to reset myself, I need to find what I'm going to do next, what make me feels like have the passion or like things I love for things will make me happy. And then the answer always is back on the mountain, even just like snowboarding, like just carving, riding the powder. I feel like I really love myself again and then find the motivations to continue. Only thing I always say, like, no matter what I'm doing, snowboarding is part of my life. I will do it like forever, the rest of my life. I'm just feel like that's the most happy place I never could be.
I completely agree. I think sometimes people put this pressure on an athlete that once their competitive career is over, they need to move on and find something else and be almost just as good at it as they were in their sport. And that can feel like a loss of identity sometimes as an athlete when they take that next step, because they are like, who am I without this in my life? But what I've come to learn from the last time I competed was in 2022. And I've gone on to do shows and I coach figure skating now. And I've realized that skating doesn't have to be out of my life. And I can have it within me and within my daily life in whatever capacity I want it to be, because it truly does bring me joy and peace and still pushes me to broaden my capacity of what I can learn and how I can grow. Snowboarding is still able to be a part of your life, even if you aren't competing, or even if you did have a tough competition, you can still come back the next day and still enjoy it. Even if maybe the day before was one of the hardest things you could have gone through, the next day you can still love it and still find a passion for it and still enjoy it. And I think that there needs to be more talk about that instead of the pressure of being able to close a door and move on without it.
Friend taught me that pressure actually is a good thing, because pressure will make you feel focused. Nervous is good. Nervous means like keep our safe, because that's how human reaction are. You just have to face to all the problems, all the fears, all the nervous, and take it, and then just go do it.
Sport teaches you how to handle all of those emotions. We're human. We're supposed to experience a huge range of emotions and understand how to handle them. And with anything big in your life that you do, you're going to feel those things and maybe go back to the way that you handled them during sport. Like I notice if I'm a little bit nervous before something like a speech or what, I go back to what helped me right before going out to compete. The breathing, the controlling my thoughts, all of those very similar ways of handling it. Is there anything that you do right before you go down that calms you, or do you like to feel excited? What are you feeling up there, and are there ways that you cope with it?
Visualization metrics and what I'm going to do, and I'm going to tell myself no matter what happens, I'm going to land my run. I think the nervousness come from less training. So especially this year, like I injured my ankle before the season started, and then I barely like train or snowboarding. And then when I back on the compete, I was so nervous. Even I talked to my, I said, "Why you're so nervous? You've been competing for like 20 years." I said, "Yeah, it was somebody don't train. They just you're here like doing the competitions." I said, "Hello, of course I'm gonna be feel nervous." Athletes, how great you are, like how successful, but also like we're human, right? And we're females too. We have the emotion. We sometimes we feel high, sometimes we feel low. The athlete, we will get back sooner than other people, faster, come out to that gray or dark moment. Don't get me like wrong. I have those so many times like dark moments, but like after a couple of days, I will talk to myself and then get through everything and then face it and then to get up and then to really enjoy my life.
It's almost like that reality check, because I think sometimes when maybe things aren't going right in your sport, you can start to have that snowball effect of so many things in my life or at this point or what. And it's almost like you need that reality check to be like, no, just this one part didn't maybe go the way that I wanted it to, but so many other things are great. Kind of brings you back to what is correct. What are the facts instead of
totally
the reality that you sometimes make up in your head too. That's the one thing I wish I had a little bit more in life daily, was loving myself through the good days, the bad days. When you're young and everything is so new and so exciting and all this, you're not really thinking about like, I am a woman and my body is doing these amazing things. And then as you get older, you start to realize how incredible your body is and the fact that it's operating this way at the highest level of sport as well. And it needs that compassion from yourself and that gratitude as well to continue to operate that way too. And I think that we can be really hard on ourselves because we're like, at this time of the month, why am I not able to do these things? Or why do I feel this way? And it's like, well, it's also like being just a woman in sport too, is going through these cycles throughout just one single month too.
100%.
So when you are having days like this or times in your career like this, who is there to support you and remind you why you love this sport?
Benny, who's my favorite coach, and he was my coach, but now he's working with the US team. He was always the best coach, also is one of my best friends, and then he definitely been through some of my dark moments.
So we have the opportunity to speak with Benny today, and we just want to ask you a few questions about Jaiyu's career. When did you first get involved with her career?
My first involvement with Jaiyu was on the way to the 2022 Olympics, where we had to turn silver into gold. We did our very best, but with COVID and the things that happened that year, it was an impossible challenge.
Is there any way that you support her when she has a great training day or a great race or a tough one? Is there anything that you do to support her through those?
I just tell the truth. Jaiyu is an incredible person, and it's very difficult to achieve success or greatness in any field in life. But for Jaiyu, she is a first of her kind, a first for her country.
Mm-hmm.
So a first for the nation of China. So it's easy to follow, but it's hard to pave the road. I ask her to look within herself, look within the journey that she's taken, and therein lies the substance or the stuff that will allow her to take another journey or reset for tomorrow or continue on to another level of greatness.
Is there anything that you're most proud of in her career?
Her resilience, her willingness to never surrender and never give up, no matter what she's faced against. No matter the challenges in her professional life or personal life, she always finds a way. And she does that by tapping into her, seeking advice from other people, talking through things, but tapping into her experience and her innate wisdom.
Is there anything that you two say to each other before she drops in or before she even goes out to compete?
It's making sure that she taps into enjoying it and enjoying it from within first, and finding a way, whether it's connected to snowboarding, connected to something personal, but finding a way to start from gratitude and from love for herself and love for her journey first.
And when you're watching her, what do you feel?
I just close my eyes.
You close your eyes.
And I was like, oh.
Sometimes it's the best thing to do.
I have seen her improve her technical skill set. I have seen her be one of the first women in the world to do the double corks, the double flips in the half pipe. I've seen her recently walk on crutches to the half pipe and then make the finals. There's a full range of amazement there. I just am in awe of her as a person and awe of her as an athlete.
Wow. You can just tell how well you know her, and no athlete's going to make it as far as they can in their career without that support system around them. So I'm so happy that she has you, because you've obviously been such a huge part of her career and her life. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate hearing from you and can't wait for you both to be in Milan together celebrating an incredible career.
Awesome. Well, thank you. It's an honor for me. So the pleasure's mine.
Thank you for bringing him in. And then those questions that actually I never asked him. Benny is quite like a very talented coach. That's why all the national team and person want to hire him. And then I was like, felt so like lucky to have him say yes to working with me. And then the person you say I want to thank, definitely he's the number one. I wasn't really super healthy like mentally, because I think COVID is really hard for everyone, and then especially for me it was quite hard. He able to choose stay in China and then helping me through everything. So that's definitely, I was very appreciative. Doesn't matter who he's working with or like which nation he working with, he's still my friend.
And you spoke earlier about how you were one of the first in your sport in China. So do you have any advice that you would give to young girls, especially those watching from China or places without access to your sport or winter sports in general, and maybe they dream of becoming a snowboarder? Is there any advice that you would give to them?
First of all, you have to try all the sports, right? And then find what you truly love. You never know, who's going to be next champion or like who's going to be next superstar until you try. But most important is follow your heart, just do what you like to do. Don't give up, something like that, because you won't easily give up with the things you love or you like.
Any hard moment in my career, I feel like I've always come back to the fact that as a young kid, I picked this sport and come back to why I loved it as a young kid. And those are good reminders as to why I continue to do it at this age. You do have to love it. And you never know who could become the next one. Like, honestly, you never know who could become the next one and where they live or what they're doing right now, but they could be that next star in your sport as well. How can snowboarding continue to grow in a way that supports athletes long term, not just in moments of peak performance?
What I want to do in my next chapter, to be like a ambassador to share sports, like to share like winter sports, like to tell more people what these sports come from, what snowboard histories are. That would be part of my journey, and it feels like that's what I can do at my best.
Yeah, another way to still stay involved in the sport, and I think that comes back to what we spoke about before, is not having a bad relationship with the sport when you end it. And it seems like you've been able to finish out your career the way that you want to and still have that healthy relationship with it, so that you can also inspire, but also pave the way and do the work to help allow people to experience what you experienced in this sport too, and give them the right tools to be able to do it.
The most important thing is like to win the gold medal is great, but also you have to like love the sports, right? And then gold medal is only like one gold medal for each of our sports. But like we have like billions and millions of people doing this sport. So like, what are they gonna have fun, or they, if they didn't win gold medal, are they gonna cry or something? No, you just enjoy it. Like you give all you can, then do the best way you can, and then enjoy it. That's all that matters.
We've spoken about the longevity in your career. So for you, and this is the last question, heading into your 5th games, what advice would you give to young Jaiyu at her first games? What would you tell her now after all these years?
You did a great, amazing job. I'm so proud of myself.
We love that.
Just enjoy it, not thinking about anything else. So I have to really thank myself with all the like emotion, everything.
But we can't wait to see you enjoy it in Milan. And we are building this big network of support for you here at Flame Bears. We're your biggest fans, and we can't wait to cheer you on, especially knowing how much you put in to this journey just this year alone to be able to stand up there and do what you do. So good luck, and we're wishing you all the best.
Thank you so much. And by the way, it looks so pretty.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for tuning into Flame Bears Making It to Milan. If you like what you heard, please like, follow, and subscribe to Flame Bearers on YouTube and anywhere you get your favorite podcasts.
Stay tuned as we bring you more behind-the-scenes stories of women athletes around the world training for the competition of a lifetime. See you next time on Making It to Milan.